episode 517 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I'll be talking about tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision, featuring a match for the AEW TBS Championship, and in the main event, the AEW TNT Championship was on the line. Christian Cage versus Bryan Danielson. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hey Wrestling Fanatics, welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic on this Saturday night, and Saturday nights are right for fighting. I'm Lance Brock, and tonight I'll be talking all about AEW Saturday Collision. The AEW TBS Championship was on the line, and in the main event, the AEW TNT Championship on the line. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight on this Saturday night. And once again, just a quick reminder, if you haven't heard the episode last night yet, talking about the show I attended with Bret the Hitman Hart to benefit autism, that is available now right here on Spreaker or wherever you listen to podcasts. And I don't think I mentioned this, but since, of course, Bret Hart was there, they had pink ropes. I thought that was a nice touch. And let's get into it tonight. AEW Saturday Collision, live from Toledo, Ohio. And our commentators tonight are Tony Schiavone, Kevin Kelly, and Nigel McGuinness. And then they would be joined by good old JR Jim Ross for the main event. And we start off with some promos in the ring. And we have the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland. And then he is interrupted by the AEW TNT champion, the face of Warner Brothers Discovery, as he likes to call himself these days, Christian Cage. And he comes out not only with Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne, but he's also hired some extra security for tonight. And he stands in the corner behind all the security he has tonight. And then we have Bryan Danielson come out, and they want to go now. And FTR, we also get out here, and they all want to fight. But it will take place later tonight. Bryan Danielson versus Christian Cage for the TNT Championship in the main event. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do see all these guys in a multi-man match eventually. And Brian Cage, and sorry about that, we have the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, Samoa Joe defeating Willie Mack. Now this one I thought was actually a pretty entertaining match. Big fan of Willie Mack back since I've seen him in promotions like Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling of course, and lately he's been appearing on AEW and Ring of Honor television. Big fan of Willie Mack and Samoa Joe. I thought these two worked really well together. I'll give this one 3 out of 5 ring bells. Samoa Joe retaining the World Television Championship in this one. The AEW TBS Championship was on the line. Chris Statlander taking on Sky Blue. And this was one that I was actually looking forward to tonight. Big fan of Chris Statlander. Also, big fan of Sky Blue. Have definitely been impressed with Sky Blue as of late. And since she's been misted, she's kind of turned it up a notch. These two have a really good match. And it is won by Chris Statlander, defeating Sky Blue to retain the TBS Championship. And then after the match, Statlander goes to show some respect to Sky Blue. Sky Blue, she doesn't really want to the handshake or anything. And then we see Willow Nightingale come out and tell Statlander that she'll take care of it. And Statlander leaves, and Willow Nightingale kind of sides with Sky Blue here. She was also misted by Julia Hart. And once again, really good match between these two. I'll have to give it 3.5 out of 5 ring bells. That's just my opinion about it. I really enjoyed this match. And in the main event tonight, the AEW TNT Championship on the line. Christian Cage taking on the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Really good main event here, just as would expect it to be with these two guys in the main event. And we have interference from Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill. And Christian Cage is able to defeat Bryan Danielson and retain the AEW TNT Championship. I think I forgot to mention it, but also in the opening segment, Ricky Starks and Big Bill, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, did come out. And like I was saying earlier, is I wouldn't be surprised if we do get some kind of 8-man tag eventually. Kind of looks like they might be setting up for that. And so that was tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision. I thought it was a pretty good episode tonight. Had some good wrestling. The women's match I thought was very good. Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue. And of course, the main event, Christian Cage versus Bryan Danielson. And we also saw Bullet Club Gold, Jay White still in possession with the Triple B. which he calls the Bang Bang Belt. And we did get a video package on MJF. And in this Wednesday on Dynamite, we will see Kyle Fletcher take on Kenny Omega. And also, there's something I forgot. I know I need to get better at my note-taking. Kyle Fletcher defeated Boulder tonight. And sorry, I forgot to mention that. And also, before I wrap up this podcast, get into a little bit of pro wrestling news. And that is Jon Moxley vs. Great-O-Khan is set for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Power Struggle in Osaka. That should be a pretty good match. And New Japan Pro Wrestling Royal Quest 3 took place. Will Ospreay vs. Zack Sabre Jr. And Moose has revealed that there were talks of him facing Monty Brown back at the TNA There's No Place Like Home event in 2022, which never actually took place because of COVID around that time. And that is all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic 517. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight on this Saturday night. And once again, earlier in the week, I somehow got really mixed up. I was thinking that Impact's Bound for Glory was actually going to be tonight, but I was wrong. Bound for Glory actually is 1 week from tonight, October 21st. I apologize for that mistake. And don't know if there'll be a 360 Wrestling Fanatic tomorrow night or not, but we'll probably be back. 360 Wrestling Fanatic will probably return Monday night to talk about Monday Night Raw. But I will be here tomorrow morning for the Sunday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. So hope all you will be here tomorrow morning too. Remember, if you have any questions, comments, or you can also leave your feedback on tonight's episode of AEW Saturday Collision in the comment section right here on Spreaker, YouTube, or whichever podcast app or website you listen to on. Also, remember all the social media, Instagram, X, Twitter, whichever it's called now, at 360 Wrestling Pod. Also the email, 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. And that's all for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I know this is kind of a short one, and hopefully I'll get better soon and do more detailed recaps. Hopefully, anyway. And I'll talk to everyone tomorrow morning with GMWF. Until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.